Welcome, everybody, to Strangest Species, Season 2, Episode 28.
28, baby.
Yeah, I'm your host, Mike Davis. And look who's back with us today.
Oh, yes, me.
You, Ethney Davis.
Yeah, is that my middle name now?
It is. Ever since I went to Japan, I call her Ethney Wa.
Yep.
In my phone and everything.
Everything. Yeah. Well, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So welcome back.
I listened to Lincoln, who filled in for me. And honestly, for never having done it before and for being, kind of young and just, he did a great job.
It's good. I have not actually gone back and listened to it at all.
Yeah, he did great.
I thought he did. I thought he had some funny one-liners.
He did. He had some interesting thoughts and some... he didn't keep the dialogue going very good, but otherwise,
it was so funny because there would be times where I would be talking and he would be, listening, but kind of like looking off or whatever. And then he would just drop like this random like thought or what. I'm like, oh, he really is paying attention over there.
Yeah. No, I thought he did a good job. So
no, he did awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Lincoln.
Yeah. He's such a cool dude. So it was fun to do it with him.
Mm-hmm. And thank you to my sister for having me listen. Shout out to her. She's one of our biggest fans too.
There you go.
Yep.
All of her biggest fans are family because that's how it works.
That's not true.
Except for my mom. She won't listen.
No, we have big fans and regulars that aren't family too.
We do. Speaking of big fans. So you know how if you're a Spotify listener, they do what's called Wrapped at the end of the year. So it's like a big reveal of your top songs and top artists and blah, 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 blah. It was really cool. I used to love it until our daughter started sharing my Spotify account. And
then it's like...
And now it's like, none of this music's
Taylor
mine.
Swift and Benson Boone.
That's it. It's like, your top 5 songs are... I'm like, I've never heard any of these songs. There were some songs that she'd listened to, like, I'm not joking, like 3,000 times.
She probably falls asleep to them and they're like on repeat.
On repeat, yeah. So I'm like, oh.
It's awesome.
Well, this is worthless for me.
But anyway, you were saying.
Yeah, so... we have a website that we host the podcast through. So we record, I take it to my computer, I do what I need to do with it, and then I upload it onto a company called Buzzsprout. Now Buzzsprout then uploads it, and then they distribute it to Apple and Spotify and Amazon and
all the places.
Overcast and anywhere where you can listen to iHeartRadio. It doesn't matter how it works. Anyways, Buzzsprout is the hosting site for podcasts, or for ours. So they have on their site 121,167 podcasts that they host.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. We are in the top 50% of that in downloads.
That's amazing.
So is it the top 1%? No, but we beat out at least, 60,500 in some other podcasts.
That's amazing.
I know. So you're right. There are some people who listen to it.
Yeah.
Because they did like their own, I was talking about Spotify's Wrapped. They did something very similar.
Right.
Like here's your year-end stats.
That's pretty cool.
And so it shows you all your things and it said what percentage you are and blah, blah, blah. But it's fascinating to look at it. I don't even remember
some of the stats that you saw.
Yeah, I had it open a second ago here.
Oh, you did? Well, I think that's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
So a lot of it's similar. Like our number one city with the most downloads is Spokane.
It is.
Yeah.
That's still pretty impressive.
Which is where we live.
Yeah, but I mean...
I don't know a lot of people who listen. I mean, obviously there are people who do that...
Word of mouth or whatever?
That I don't know do,
Right.
But second was Seattle. Then LA, Brooklyn, and Sydney, Australia. Those are our top 5 cities in that order.
Not even like my hometown?
Nope.
Wow.
Canada is not stepping up. Well, that's not true. Canada as a whole is doing great. So the United States is by far the number one country. Canada is number 2, followed by the United Kingdom, Australia, and Germany.
Yeah, Germany is so interesting. I love it.
Yeah,
well,
we
thank
always
you
have
to everyone
a fair amount of listeners out of Germany.
Who is out there listening to us.
I don't know how anybody
has heard about us.
Yeah,
that's what I want to know.
So I will admit, and I don't know what this means moving forward, we do have some changes coming in life, and I won't get into any of it today, that is going to definitely affect the amount of time that I have for writing.
He's basically getting a second job.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially.
Without being paid.
Sure. But
time commitment wise.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to stop, but it might be, maybe we become bi-weekly or something like that. We don't know yet. We'll have more in the new year. This is the last episode we're going to have, though, in 2024.
Yeah, it is.
We're going to take some time off for the holidays.
Christmas is next week, and the week after that's New Year's.
And we'll have lots of family around and just doing lots of things. And I just want to focus on that.
Yeah,
so
it's a good thing to focus on.
We've never missed a week since we started.
No, because we pre-recorded and everything for other times. So
we are going to take a little break for a couple weeks, but then we'll be back. So, how have you been?
Good.
You did a 24-hour trip to Canada.
I did.
You were gone for 24 hours, and about 15 of those were spent in the car.
Yep. I spent one night and turned around and came back. But honestly, for mid-December, heading up to Canada through a mountain pass, the roads couldn't have honestly been better. And in that time frame, even though it was short, I got to see my cute nieces and nephews and give them little Christmas presents and sort of make their little day. And I got to visit with my sister one-on-one, which is really cool because that never really happens. There's always other people, more kids, more cousins, more siblings, more parents, everything. It was literally just me and her.
Yeah, we never go back to your place just to go.
Well, it's usually like a big gathering.
Yeah, right. So other people are usually there. Plus, your parents live there. They weren't there this time.
No, they weren't there this time. And then I also got to see a really good friend, really good friend, and visit with her. And we've been friends since middle school, and it was awesome.
It is awesome.
Yep.
That is really, really cool.
Yeah. I keep in touch with actually like a lot of my, I guess you could say, core friends from middle school on. Some elementary, but yeah, like there's a good 6 of us that
That's true.
Are still in touch with each other and get together when we can. Some are not even in Calgary anymore, but yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I was actually talking about that at the breakfast thing that I went to when you were gone.
Oh, really?
Because I knew you were with Erica,
mm-hmm.
and I don't remember who I was talking to, but I was just saying, it's amazing. Like one of them has a master's from Oxford.
Yep.
One of them was like a track star in college. Like you've all done so many different things.
So many different things, but we're all
still
in touch.
Get together,
yep.
yeah. And
we try to make it happen. So.
And you're just stuck with me here.
No, I love it. No, it's great. It's a kind of amazing that we can go through so many different changes and be all over the world and do all sorts of things.
Well, the cool thing I love about your friends too is you guys hold very different political views. You hold very different religious views. You hold very different social views. Mm-hmm. But you still...
There's common ground.
Right.
Yep.
And
there's so many good memories.
Love each other and you make fun of each other and you cry with each other.
Yeah.
You
can support each other and you still know so many things about each other because those years of, middle school and high school are so developmental and crucial in kind of the person that you are.
Well, I'm sure you and Erica have a lot more dirt on some of them than they have on you.
Oh, for sure.
Just based on lifestyle.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But, so much.
Yeah. So I had an interesting experience this last week. I am fairly fond of civic duties. Like I think it's important to vote. I think it's important to be involved in local government. Not necessarily like running, but
right.
Being aware and those kind of things. And for the first time in my life, I was summoned to jury duty, which it was a 2-week summon. And for you who have done this before, you probably, it's like, oh yeah, this is nothing special. But if you haven't, or if you're not from the United States, it was an interesting
process.
It was a very process. So they summon. So you get a thing in the mail saying you've got to come down to the courthouse. We have to call in every night. You have to call in to see if you're needed, or not the next day. And so the very first day I was summoned, there were like 150 of us, and they immediately, just randomly, knocked us down to about 65. And they put you at this hour-long orientation on what it means to be a juror and blah, blah, blah. Now, obviously, if you listen to this podcast, you know, I love trials and I watch a bunch of trials. And so I was very familiar with all these things. But I'd never seen how they work kind of behind the scenes. And, you know, they were telling us, well, the average trial is like a 1 to 3 days, but they can go longer. But they don't tell you what you're there for.
Right.
What kind of trial you're there for. And so they march all 65 of us down to the courtroom, and we walk in, and they sit us in the gallery, and there's the judge, there's the defendant, there's the prosecution, there's the defense, and they literally swear us all in, like all 65 of us, like we're jurors on that case. And they read us the charges, and they were very, I'm not going to go into them here, but very graphic and very intense charges against the defendant. And it was going to be a 2-week-long trial. So then instantly I was like, I can't, with my job, like the end of the year is the busiest time. Like I can't be gone for 2 weeks. But you also can't. I mean, you try to get out by, you know, not being a good juror. But you can't just leave.
Right, of course. No, you have to be dismissed.
So I spent 2 days being voir dired by these attorneys.
Is that the right term?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Questioned by them. And it was Tuesday night at about 4 o'clock when they finally selected their 14 jurors. 12 and 2 alternates. And at that time, there were probably upper 40s, 50 of us left. And we were so nervous, like, don't pick me, don't pick me, don't pick me.
Well, there were some people there that probably wanted to be
definitely
picked.
some people that wanted to get picked. And it would be fascinating if I had nothing else going on in life.
Right.
But now is just not a good time to be.
Well, for those 2 days that you should have been working, you were compensated
$44.
$44. Yeah. So
I make a little bit more than that on a normal
just
day.
a little bit. I mean, maybe some people make more than that in 1 hour. So anyway,
Yes.
you couldn't have done 2 weeks.
I could not have done 2 weeks. I mean, we couldn't shut the office down that much. It looks like, it was, yeah.
Plus the case.
The case is super heavy and it involved children. We have children, you know, like it wasn't anything that I wanted to be involved with. But I felt really bad because some of the jurors around me had like actually in their lives experienced the same kind of crime and they were still selected.
Yeah. Maybe almost deliberately.
Oh, I'm sure deliberately. I'm sure the prosecution wanted them.
Oof. It's terrible.
But anywho, it was interesting.
Yeah, that is.
But I've been released now. I was supposed to be at all this week too.
Yeah, he was supposed to like call in every night, even though he didn't get selected for that jury, to maybe get selected for a different jury or something. But they finally officially released him. I think
they did
Sunday night.
Or they did, yeah. But they did call in like they called in
more people.
Oh, a bunch more tonight for tomorrow. But then they released us who had been there last week and said you're done.
Oh,
so you don't have to call in anymore. So that made me happy.
Yeah.
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 So, all right, last time in 2024, Ethney, what do you think we're going to talk about today?
Ooh, I should have been pre-thinking this, actually.
I'm getting a bunch of text messages from my fantasy football team league guys.
Perfect.
So if you hear my phone buzzing, that's what it is. It's not important. It's
fantasy football is like so important.
It's the semifinals.
Okay, so I think we're going to talk about something that takes place in Australia.
Do any of the things we're going to talk about take place in Australia? I don't think so.
No.
Actually, there is one that takes place in Australia.
Well, I mean, it's very vague.
That's like saying we're going to talk about somebody who breathes air.
No, that's everybody. I think the reason why I was thinking about Australia is because I'm listening to a book, or I listened to a book the whole way up to Canada and back. I finished the whole thing in one trip.
Yeah, 15 hours in the car.
By Leanne Moriarty. And
which you love.
I do love her. And anyway, she's from Australia, and because their audiobooks are all in with Australian accents. And so it's on my mind.
That's good.
Yeah.
You know what I love is when you tell me about what's going on in your books, but I don't have any of the like first half of the books. I don't know what's talking about. You're just so excited about what's happening.
I don't do it that much.
No, you don't.
I just really do want you to. Some of these books are so good, and I just want you to, because you like to write. I want you to read a couple to kind of like, they're so complex, the plots and stuff, and it's really cool.
I do like to write, but that's something I've given up too.
Yeah.
I'm moving back to more like professional writing,
right?
Boring writing. I mean, not boring, but not, not a narrative.
Right.
It's much more
for work.
For work. Yeah. Not for work, but for my work. Anyways, doesn't matter. All right, here's my question for you.
Okay. I'm ready for the question.
It's a deep question.
Okay.
When did you become a woman?
In utero.
Well, not physically.
What?
When did you transition from a little girl and officially became a woman?
Oh. I mean, maybe when I was
in Canada, do they have any cool
13?
Cool rituals you have to do? Like you don't have to like go out and fight a polar bear.
Funny story about a polar bear. I have a lot of American cousins. So a lot of my aunts and uncles came down to the States for school and then stayed down here.
They pulled a U.
Yes. And so growing up, I spent a lot of time in the States. And I think I don't know where I was, at some youth conference or something. And I was asked 2 questions, but I had my friend there from Canada too. But one of the questions was like, do you guys have government up there? Okay, so
I was with you in that one.
were you? Okay, so that wasn't at this one.
That was in college.
That was in Idaho. That was in
ex-wife.
Yeah. That was great. Okay, so this other question was definitely at this youth conference. And they were like, what kind of, do you guys like ride bobsled, or not bobsleds? Is that the right term? With the dogs? Dog sleds, like to school. And like, do they pull you to school? And do people up there live in igloos? And ask me all these questions. So me and my friend, we look at each other and we're like, we are totally going to run with this. Like we just knew it. And so we claimed that we had polar bear wrestling competitions.
Nice.
And that we're like kind of like the state. There were province champions and stuff. And that we had participated in polar bear wrestling. Not that we were like champions or anything. We didn't take it too far. But they
participated.
Just totally believed everything. And I am a terrible liar. Like terrible. So
you're not the greatest liar. But you are the most gullible person.
Sure.
Not
the
gullible.
most. I'm not the most gullible.
You're naive.
I'm trusting.
And innocent and trusting.
No, I'm trusting, but I'm not gullible. Like.
You'll believe anything I tell you.
No.
Anything.
No. Sometimes you're deliberately making it seem like you actually know what you're talking about, though.
I always make it seem like I know what I'm talking about.
Anyway, it was great. We had a riot just making up all sorts of crap about absolutely none of these things that we never ever did, and I don't think anyone ever does.
Well, yeah, fighting a polar bear would not end well for anybody.
No, but I mean, they were just loving every second of it. It was great. So speaking of polar bears, no, we don't have any rituals like that. I mean, the normal. You learn how to use the stuff.
There you go.
It's about as ritualistic as it gets.
Yeah. Same here. No cool stuff.
No.
But today we're going to talk about some of the
rituals that are out there.
Coming of age rituals. And then I like to picture
like kind of like a quinceañera. Is that a coming of an age ritual? Would you consider that or no?
Coming of an age party. We're going to talk more like physical feats of of bravery or things like that to become an adult.
Okay.
But quinceañeras sound cool. And some tres leches cake and all that sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yeah. I'm all
really
for that.
fancy. Spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, we don't have to do that.
No.
No bar mitzvahs. No quinceañeras.
That's true. But I like to go to the parties.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so this one's super
Benign?
not benign by any means, very general.
Okay.
But it's probably not in real life. I just don't have a lot of information on it
Oh, okay.
because it's almost Christmas and I'm busy. So the first one, you've heard this before. And this is where we're going to Australia. A walkabout.
Walkabout. I feel like there's a song or something.
I don't know.
A walkabout.
A walkabout.
I have heard about this?
I don't know. I had heard about this.
Okay.
I feel like this is just common knowledge, like fuselage and stuff. But
It might be.
maybe not. So in Aboriginal culture, a walkabout is a test of bravery. So they would send their boys anywhere between the ages of 10 and 16 out into the outback, but not the restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
the actual outback,
Right.
for up to 6 months
Wow.
on their own.
It's a
They
long
just
time.
go and
Forage and
survive and
build shelters
commune
and-
with nature
Huh?
and survive. And if you don't survive, well, you probably don't become a man. But it's funny because two of our boys would be in that range. I can't imagine sending our 10-year-old out
That's a little young.
into the most inhospitable part of the world, probably.
Is it really that bad?
Well, think of all the crazy animals and creatures that are out there and
But I mean,
the intense heat. And
yeah, I don't actually know for myself what that looks like, but
just then, all right, just go, man. Just figure yourself out.
I mean,
Some of it sounds like from a spiritual perspective, like amazing.
really.
But I like to do
rural?
that for like a week.
Is the outback really rural?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like I love walking
Yeah.
and just roaming around.
Sure. Yeah, that would be interesting. I think. I mean, I would hope, and my grandparents actually lived with the Aborigines for a couple of years,
They did.
and they loved it. I would hope that they would be preparing, right, their child for this particular walkabout all throughout life, knowing that this is a part of what they do. Right?
Yeah, I would assume that you're learning skills your whole life that are useful.
Yeah,
It's not like, oh, you've been playing Mario Kart, now it's time to go out into the... You know.
Right. So I think that had we been preparing, say for a certain age, like 13, I feel like, Lincoln could hold his own for sure.
Yeah, I think Lincoln could.
Yeah. At that age.
And I think ever could at that age.
Yeah, at that age. Their range is 10 to 16 is a very wide range, but I don't know what, is it what, once you reach a certain height, is it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good
how
point.
do you determine what, that's just, I don't know. It's a very big difference from 10 to 16. If it was based on height, our kids are doomed. I mean,
They would all be out there at 10.
yeah. Yeah. Whether they're mentally there, they're physically tall enough. And
Right.
then maybe if tallness equals survival, then who knows, you know?
Right.
So that's, it's kind of cool. So my dad did I believe it was a month-long survival.
Is that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would have guessed longer, but I'm pretty sure it's a month-long survival in the deserts of southern Utah.
Like Zion and stuff down
Is
there.
that sounding right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And gosh, his stories are crazy. I mean, crazy. He found this plastic sheet to kind of lay on top of at nighttime, and he could hear this like scuttling, I don't know, like noise, and he ended up realizing that he was like plastic barrier between all these scorpions. There was someone who got really, really, really sick. I don't know if he ate a squirrel or I can't remember the story, but
Desert squirrels.
or some rodent or something. And then I think he got, like dysentery and
Yeah.
I think did he die?
Your dad? No, he's alive.
No, not my dad. The guy that he could hear him like in the night, in the dark, like kind of wailing.
I don't know this story.
Okay. Yeah. Oof. I mean, my dad loved it if he looks back on it, but I mean, some of the crap he had to try to eat to even get some like ash cakes. Blech. I mean, like so nasty.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the outback would look like. I would hope you'd have more food that would naturally grow in Australia. But I really don't. I mean, I don't know.
No, neither. So before the boys would go out, they would be taught and trained by their elders, kind of a council of elders. They would teach them hunting methods. And I think this part's cool. They were taught, and they learned sacred songs that taught them and highlighted the geographical features of the area.
Oh, interesting.
So,
like a mnemonic
kind of, yeah.
To
know, like, okay, there's a river over this range, or, there's a...
home on the range. So it's like a song that is...
Right. Yes. Yes. Like that.
Just like that.
Exactly like that.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one's kind of, this ethereal spiritual quest.
Right.
That can last a while.
And so if you came back too soon, like how would you know your time frame?
Well, it almost makes it sound like they take you out and drop you off. And then it's like, we'll see you at home. But
it's kind of dependent on you. Like if you find your way in a month, you're fine.
Right.
Or if you find your way in a year, you're
right.
Whoa.
I don't know exactly how this works.
Okay.
But I kind of got the vibe. It's like, we're going to take you 20 miles away or 500 miles away. I don't know how long it is, and
right. Wow.
Say.
It's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
As a mom, I don't like that.
No.
I don't want to just, no, not my kid. No way.
No way. No how.
I mean, even if I had every confidence in them, I don't know that that's setting them up for the best.
Run to one wrong rattlesnake.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, solitude is good, but you're not meant to be
No, we are communal
alone,
creatures.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So for our next one, we're going to Vanuatu.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yes. Now, this one's very, very, very interesting.
Vanuatu is a beautiful place.
Yeah, I've never been.
Yeah.
Just east of Australia. Well, it's just east, but east of Australia in the South Pacific is the island of Vanuatu, the country of Vanuatu. This is called land diving. That's right.
Sounds dangerous.
So, boys as young as 9 climb 20 to 30 meters up a tower made out of tree branches, vines, poles, platforms, whatever they can get. So 20 meters is about 60 feet. 30 meters is about 90 feet. And so they climb up this big rickety tower. And what do you think they do once they get to the top?
Yell, King of the Castle. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's what they do.
I'm sure hoping they're not diving off.
They tie vines to their feet and they jump off.
Like bungee jumping.
This is like
the
original
school, the OG.
bungee jumping. Yeah.
Oh.
Not only are they bungee jumping, the goal is to have their head or shoulders barely touch the ground.
Well, this is a terrible idea. Like, why?
This is how they earn their place among their tribe's warriors.
I'd be like, I'm not a warrior.
You're
I'm
like,
gonna go.
I will be the chef.
I will be the map maker.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to go be a warrior.
So I have to jump off a 100-foot tower to then go fight people? No, I'm good.
Yeah. And come as close to the ground as I can, but without dying?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Who even thinks of these things?
Well, according to Vanuatu legend, there was a woman who jumped from a banyan tree to escape her abusive husband. And her husband tried to follow, but the fall killed him. So men of the village choose to mimic this legend as the ultimate test of masculinity. Yeah. Luckily, the ceremony coincides with the annual yam harvest. So, I mean, that sounds fun. Eat some yams while you do it. Who doesn't love a good yam?
I mean, I love yams.
Exactly.
I don't know what that has to do with jumping off a giant tower, though.
Well, if you can do it really high, it's going to ensure a good, bountiful yam year.
Are you being serious?
Yeah.
It actually says that?
Yeah.
Huh.
Mhm.
So are you guesstimating the length of your rope? Did someone
This is a good
pre-measure the
question,
rope for you?
Because even if you knew, one, you're not using a rope, you're using like a vine, right? So, I mean, it'd be one thing if you jumped off with like a very highly engineered rope where you knew that, the give and the tension and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, okay, do I want to go 10 feet short? Do I want to go 50 feet short? Obviously you don't want to go long. That will guarantee contact with the ground.
Yeah, so...
Who ties the knot for you?
Yes, and like the type of knot you tie around your ankle. And like when you tie a knot, you could leave this much of a tail at the end of the knot around your ankle, or you could have like this much. And so you can't see me, but that would greatly... So if you tie it with not enough tail and you leave less tail, it's going to be longer. And then what happens? You just smack your noggin?
You die.
Literally.
So here's a picture. Doesn't it look terrifying? This is the kind of tower they build.
Oh.
It's literally like a tower of sticks, like 100 feet tall.
You know what that reminds me of?
The little naked boy getting ready to jump off.
Yeah, seriously. It reminds me of the Kakamora ship.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a Kakamora ship.
Right? Like
Yeah.
all just...
From Moana.
Yeah, from Moana. Okay. What?
So before the jump, the men prepare themselves by secluding themselves from women and sleeping at the base of the tower. Obviously.
I mean, this is as young as 9. So wouldn't they mostly be already secluded?
But maybe even
women?
from their moms,
Oh, yes.
The morning before the jump, they take a ritualistic bath. They cover themselves in coconut oil and body paint, and they wear boar tusks. Because boars like to jump from big things.
Boar tusk where? Like around their neck?
I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah.
Weird.
So, they always do it between April and June because it's a wet season. So that gives some nice elasticity to their vines.
Okay.
You
don't want too much elasticity,
don't want
though.
too much. So they tuck their heads in, and they want to have their shoulders gently brush the soil below.
I cannot even handle this.
But sometimes they break their necks or shoulder blades or die. I mean, just sometimes.
I mean, the only thing I can think is duh.
This sounds like a not good way to increase your army size.
Right. Because there's not a better way.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to make fun of other cultures, rituals.
No, I don't either.
But
at the same time,
I ain't ballsy enough to do that kind of stuff.
at the same time, it needs to be a smart process.
They've been doing this probably for hundreds of years.
I doubt they do it anymore.
Oh, it's actually, I think, quite a tourist attraction.
They let people watch people die?
Well, they kind of are trying to restrict it to try to protect its origins and its value.
Probably because other people feel the same way as me. Like, there's a better way.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
So, would you rather have our son go on a 6-month walkabout in the desert by himself, or jump off a 100-foot tower and try to rush his shoulders on the ground?
I think the walkabout.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Pretty sure the walkabout.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Okay.
I've seen this one on TV. Where are we going? Brazil, the Amazon.
Ooh.
To the Satare Mawe tribe. I don't know if that's actually what they're called. That's how you pronounce it. But these guys are pretty insane. So this one, maybe you've heard of. They make themselves gloves out of reeds.
Okay.
And they weave them, they cross weave them. And then in every single one of the little cross weavings, they harvest and stick in a bullet ant. Have you ever heard of a bullet ant?
I've heard of a fire ant, but not a bullet ant.
So they're a lot bigger than fire ants. They are extremely dangerous species with a pain index of over 4 on the Schmidt pain scale. I have no idea what the Schmidt pain scale is, but I've been told that they get their name because it's like getting shot. Okay, so pain level 1 is a fire ant. I've been bitten by many fire ants, and that's not fun. 2 is a tropical fire ant. 3 is a southern fire ant.
And 4 is a bullet ant.
4 is a bullet ant. Okay, this is very interesting. I'm looking at this this pain scale. But this pain scale is all for insects, but then they have something like to yeah. So here's pain level 1.5. For example, a suturing army ant is equivalent to, this is a pain level 1.5. It's equivalent to a cut on your elbow stitched with a rusty needle.
Yeah, I'm just at a loss here.
Yeah. Or so here we're going to pain level 2. The glorious velvet ant. That's a great name. It is equivalent to instantaneous, like the surprise of being stabbed. Yep. Pain level 2.5. Well, let's just jump to 4 here. So there's 3 animals in the 4 category. We have the warrior wasp. Yeah, this is not at all. Okay, so the stuff that they're equating this to is not real. But anyway, so the bullet ant, they have pure, intense, brilliant pain, like walking over flaming charcoal with a 3-inch nail embedded in your heel.
This is seriously what they're like. You're not kidding?
No, I'm reading this, man.
But like, this is not a joke.
No.
The Schmidt pain scale?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I could make this pain scale.
Yeah.
I mean, just make up anything and it would be fine.
Well, I like this one. The tarantula hawk wasp. Blinding, fierce, shockingly electric. A running hairdryer has been dropped into your bubble bath.
Like you're going to get electrocuted.
That's what it feels like to get bitten by a tarantula hawk wasp.
So wait, is a tarantula hawk wasp a tarantula?
No, it's a wasp.
It's a wasp.
It's probably a big, hairy wasp. I don't know. Anyways, needless to say, the bullet ant's not supposed to be a pleasant experience to get bit.
My favorite still is the one where it's a cut on your elbow stitched with a rusty needle.
Yeah, that's the exact thing it feels like to get bit by that thing.
Okay,
Do they have just a normal fire ant on here?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so this is great. So the Schmidt sting pains index was made by entomologist Justin Schmidt as he recorded his own experiences with all of these.
He literally tried to do this?
He didn't try, he did. He purposely got bit by all of these so that he could.
He's trying to describe this?
Yeah. So a red fire
How
ant.
does he know what it feels like to be stabbed?
This is great.
I mean,
Great.
did
Great
he stab
question.
himself too to know how to describe that?
I hope he did all these things.
How
Yeah.
does this even make it to like a scientific reference?
Yeah, I don't know if this is peer reviewed or not. But this is from
I don't think I've laughed so hard.
this is from the Natural History Museum official website in the United Kingdom. So pain level 1 is a fire ant. Now I've been bitten so many times by fire ants. So let's see what they say about them. Sharp, sudden, mildly alarming, like walking across a shag carpet and reaching for the light switch. I don't even know what that means.
Okay. I know this has nothing to do with
Is it like static electricity? Is that what that's going for? Like you get shocked?
I need to like take a break. Stop laughing.
And he's gonna pee your pants over here.
I'm trying not to laugh into the microphone. This is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
This is serious, Ethney.
Okay, like walking across the carpet. I'm sorry. like walking across the carpet to turn on the lights.
A shag carpet and reaching for the light switch. Must be talking about...
Like when you're on the trampoline and you...
Yeah, it must be static shock. So, like I said, I've been bitten many times by them, and that's exactly what it feels like. That's dead on.
The shag carpet?
Yeah.
Like, does it feel like you're getting... I'm literally crying.
Yeah,
okay, I need to take some deep breaths here.
Definitely. So, the pain level 1.5, the paper wasp. Burning, throbbing, and lonely. A lonely pain. A single drop of superheated frying oil landed on your arm.
Okay, you have to stop. I'm sorry. This is so ridiculous. Because that helps me understand better.
Yeah.
Oh, how does this guy
this one
get put on this?
Okay, the Western Yellow Jacket, which is a pain level of 2 only, is hot and smoky pain. Almost irreverent.
It literally says this?
Yeah. It's like someone...
It's not like the best job in the world.
It's like someone extinguishing a cigar on your tongue.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. This is good stuff. Anyways, needless to say, the bullet ant is bad. It's a 4.
So getting back to actually what we were supposed to be talking about.
Yeah.
I can't.
Ethney, you gotta be professional.
I'm trying so hard to deep breathe and like... Okay, I don't know why I can't.
So they make these gloves, right? They put these things in there, these bullet ants.
Yes.
And these bullet ants are huge. They're like 25, 30 millimeters long. Like they're big ants.
Okay.
And
did you say milliliters long?
Millimeters.
Okay.
So they sedate the ants with smoke.
Okay.
Collect them, put them inside these woven gloves, and then wake up. They are angry because they're trapped.
That makes sense.
Boys stick their gloves in.
Their hands in.
Yep, that's better. Yes. I guess they cover their hands in charcoal, stick their hand in. They have to leave them in there for 10 minutes. They have to do this 20 times over the process of a couple months while doing a ritual dance. I bet you when they first started, there was no ritual dance, and then everyone was just like dancing around so much from the pain, and then they decided, yeah, the dance is part of it now.
I mean, why? To prove you're tough?
Yeah, man. Then
why do they cover it with charcoal? I mean, what does that do?
I don't know if it's like a natural disinfectant or if it's lessens the pain, or I mean, it does feel like hot magma when you get bit by one.
Is that seriously what it said for the description?
I don't remember.
Because this guy, what? Does he stick his hand in hot magma so he can compare it?
Yeah.
I mean, this is too much.
Oh, no, this was the walking over a flaming charcoal with a 3-inch nail embedded in your heel.
Right.
That was the bullet ant. Yeah.
So the entomologist at my hygiene school, he was the best. Dr. Ryan.
The entomologists are always the best.
I really wish that I would have known about this. And I would have asked him, like, is this something that you study in entomology school?
I had never heard of it.
At the Natural History Museum.
So I have if you listen to this podcast, you know, I'm a dentist. I went to dental school. I have a bachelor's in science of biology. I took 0 human biology classes in undergrad.
Yeah, he did all the bugs.
All entomology.
And plants. Yeah.
Love entomology. And I don't remember this scale ever coming up.
That's too bad for you.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Maybe it's a newer thing.
Yeah, because we're progressing in our scientific level to do a pain threshold like this.
This is like a post-COVID kind of science thing.
Oh my gosh.
Follow the science, guys.
Follow the science. Ugh.
Needle, charcoal, lava, pain. Threshold.
Nail. Don't forget your nail in your heel. Yeah. I mean,
static electricity. Fire ants were a major pain in the butt.
Yeah. Isn't your brother allergic?
He is.
Yeah.
Very allergic. Like anaphylactic style.
Wow.
So we're going to just do one more.
Oh, I'm sorry. My eyes are still watering.
Because Ethney can't handle these.
You're not going to talk about it again, please?
No.
Okay, good.
We're now going to Ethiopia. To the Ono Valley.
So, okay, just let me contemplate for 1 second.
Okay.
You said 10 minutes.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the actual thing.
I know. 10 minutes each time you're getting bit over and over.
Yeah. You have to do it 20 times.
And you have to do it 20 times wet at how?
Over a couple months.
20 times over a couple of months. That's a lot of time.
It's a lot of suffering.
20 times 10 minutes. How many hours is that? I mean, can you get
3
sick
hours
and
and
die
20
from
minutes.
these?
I have no idea.
Did you lose your pen?
I dropped my pen.
Oh.
It's okay.
And this is just to become an adult, a man, or like, do women do this?
No, they don't become men.
No, but do they become women?
Maybe they make the gloves.
I wonder, are there any of these to becoming a woman?
There are.
A woman? Or is this?
There are, but they're not as extravagant. So actually, there's one culture, real quick, we can go to, and then I'll come back to that one. Let me see if I can find it. So this is what we're going to talk about. But back in the day, in Kenya, young men would have to go kill a lion with a spear.
Young women?
Young men.
Young men. That's really cool.
That sounds terrifying.
I mean, yes, but I think that's the best one out of all of them.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. In Indonesia,
Okay.
in the Mentawai people, it's not a quest they had to do, but it's still really probably not fun, probably pretty painful.
Mm-hmm.
Adolescent girls undergo a ritual where they have all of their teeth filed to sharp points using a chisel and a hammer, because that's a sign of beauty in their culture. But it's very painful and,
Yeah. It makes me think of, I believe it's Japan or maybe China, where they make your feet small. They like break your feet to keep them small.
I believe that's China.
China.
The foot binding.
Yeah, foot binding and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we all have weird. I mean, corsets are like the weirdest thing ever.
Oh, totally. Totally. They're terrible. Like literally deforming, rib cages and stuff. And no, I mean, they're all sorts of weird things. I just,
So that was the only one that I came across that was specifically for girls.
For girls, yeah.
And again, it's not, some of these, well, not these ones. There's some other ones that we didn't go into where it could be a boy or a girl, like Vision Quests and things like that,
Pointy teeth are attractive, huh?
It's interesting. What is it? There's no universal thing, right?
No.
Like I've been told in some poorer countries, like obviously being fat is attractive because it's a sign of wealth and prosperity.
Mm-hmm.
Like if everyone's starving and you're not, then obviously you're doing well.
Interesting. That makes sense. I mean, it definitely makes sense, right?
In our culture, you hear of like the hourglass shape for women, but other cultures, very much not that.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger women are, more attractive. So it's just interesting.
Yeah.
For centuries.
Well, even tiny feet.
Fair skin was
right
because you weren't working outside, so it was a sign of wealth because you weren't out in the sun.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, those are all very interesting for sure.
To the point where you treat yourself with radium to get whiter skin and die.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
No,
definitely not worth it. Interesting. So they hunt a lion with a spear. Is there a time frame?
I don't know. That wasn't the one we were going to go into. It was just one that I came across looking for the girls one.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So in Ethiopia, they've been doing this for centuries. In October, men determine whether their sons are ready for, this is to prove if they're ready to get married and start a family.
Okay.
And so the boys shave their heads. They clean their bodies with sand. They cover themselves with excrement.
Like poop?
Yep.
Okay.
And then adorn their bodies with pieces of tree bark. All for what? That's the question.
I have no idea.
They have to jump over cows.
Okay, wait. Okay. Why?
Yeah,
Something with that Schmidt thing just
it's got you.
got me. Okay.
So
Okay, just hold on. Why does it matter about any of the stuff pre jumping over cows? Why can't you just jump over cows in your clothes? Like, why do you have to roll and poop and...
they have to be naked.
Okay, so why can't they just be naked? Why do they have to do all those other things?
No idea.
Like, it
Makes
just...
it more exciting.
To roll and poop?
I didn't say they rolled in it. Just smeared it on themselves.
I mean, okay, can you literally think about this? I mean, I've milked cows, and like they sometimes poop while you're milking them, and their patties kind of splatter, and you get splattered with like a couple drops, and it's so nasty.
It's true. But I wonder if some of these culturally, like, I could see cow poop being a very like sacred thing in a lot of cultures.
Okay.
Because of its significance in agriculture and giving life and,
Sure.
you know, so it could have, I could see it being like having a high place of like a sign of fertility and a sign of.
Yeah. I mean, I can see it, but why do you have to put it all over you?
I don't know.
And then the tree bark?
I don't know. But they also put the excrement all over the cows. So
that's a lot of job to clean it off after.
Yeah, so they don't jump over the cows. It's kind of a misnomer. So they put 10 cows side by side. Well, they're actually not even cows. They're castrated bulls.
Oof.
They put 10 of them side by side. They cover them in poop. And then you must run across all of them.
How do you get them to stay still that
I don't
long,
know.
side by side?
I'm no bull expert.
Are they in like a...
No, like I'll show you this picture here.
Like in
Watch out for the nudity.
Yeah, I mean, they are just standing there. It looks like they're holding their tails, maybe.
Could be.
Keep them in place.
Yeah.
Huh.
You just got to run naked across them. Doesn't actually sound that challenging. But if you fell in between them, that'd be a bad day.
And their bulls are usually a lot more aggressive.
Sure. But they have chopped off their aggressive parts.
That's true. But I don't know. They still, yeah.
So you can only do it if your older brothers. So the firstborn has to do it. And the younger brothers can't do it till the firstborn successfully does it. So if you had like loser older brothers, you can never get married.
But I mean, you literally have to do this before you get married.
Mm-hmm. Once you are successful, then the fathers pick the woman that they want their son to marry. Mm. So you might want to be the first one to go.
Yeah.
So you have the best pick of wives.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, very.
So I never had to do any of these kind of things. I just kind of, played some sports and some video games and went out into the world.
I mean, now that we've talked about all this, that's kind of lame. Like, you're kind of lame.
I'm super lame.
Yeah.
I've never purposely smeared poop on myself.
Yeah, that's lame.
Or jumped off of a stick tower. Or purposely been bitten by hot magma filling fire ants. Bullet ants. Or tarantula wasps. Or any of those things. I would like to see his Schmidt come up with a pain scale of like normal things, like stubbing your toe.
Yeah.
What is this equivalent to?
I would love that.
Yeah. Getting a rug burn. What is that equivalent to?
A hangnail.
A hangnail, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Rolling your ankle.
Yeah, no, but he's an entomologist, so
That's
he
true.
would
He's not
only
qualified.
equate it to bugs. Yeah. So
anywho. You guys can all ponder those things.
It's very interesting, the coming of age. And I don't really know of anything that we ever even used to do, like back in the day either.
Like in our cultures?
Yeah. Like officially.
Yeah, neither.
But I mean, I can think of, so the story of Brother Bear was kind of something significant.
Like the Disney movie?
Uh-huh. Something significant for Kainai or whatever his name was to like
I don't think I've ever seen that movie all the way
I know,
through.
but to become like kind of the same thing, coming of age, become a man. And there's something to be said about it. I think it's kind of I guess it could be a neat experience. Many of these are unique and kind of
I can see value in
why.
something like a walkabout.
Sure.
It's like, here's a final exam
Sure.
of all the skills you've ever learned. And you're going to need these to be a successful man. So go prove you can do them.
Sure. The time frame seems extremely long to me. Like, I feel like if you did that for a couple weeks, I think you've proven quite a few things. That being said, if you've done scouting or something, and then, you go through the Eagle Scout process, I mean, essentially...
I'm an Eagle Scout. I know nothing.
Well, you're not a true scout. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Well, I can tell you what it means, but I'm not going to do it right now. But I think that's kind of a kind of coming of age process is the only thing I could kind of think of. Or like if you are a Girl Scout, I know they have, kind of similar processes. Right. So.
Yeah. I mean, like some countries require their youth, Israel, North Korea, or South Korea, to do X many, 18 months, 2 years, or whatever in the military. Mm-hmm. Like that would force you to grow up some, and
for sure. I
do think there's great value in our countries I'm a big fan of doing something after high school before going to college.
Yeah. Like
go out and get some real life experience.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah. Whether it's backpacking Europe, Peace Corps, teaching English, service, something that's going to allow you to, grow, learn, be challenged before you go. And
it was, I lived in a foreign country where no one spoke English, and I was on my own. It was a huge and awesome learning process, more educational than going straight to college could have ever been for me. And I loved it. On the flip side, the friend that I went with, she got very homesick and not being able to talk in different food. And there were just so many things. It didn't really work well for her. Right. And so she went home, but, there is a lot to be said about.
Yeah. Even if it's not internationally.
No.
We're here in Washington, go to Alabama. You want to see your eyes open.
Yeah.
Go
to anywhere
completely different
else
culture than what we are.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Going back to Cleveland, where we were before here,
right.
Night and day different.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And it's awesome.
It's great.
The things you learn are so
and just
so
get
great.
To realize there's a lot of different people in the world that see things a lot of ways.
Yep. So everyone has their own process of doing it, for sure. But I think there's something to kind of be said about it. Some of those seem really young to me, though.
Yeah. But a lot of these cultures, historically, they're probably dead at 35.
Well, and things have changed that in that regard. You would get married way younger back in the day and stuff.
For most of human history, you're an adult once you're sexually mature.
Right.
In our culture, we have postponed that for a long, long time, which I find very interesting, actually. Different conversation for another day.
Sure.
But,
yeah, that is interesting.
Vienna is 14. She's prime marriage age for most of human history.
Yeah.
We find that weird and gross and sick, but only for the last 100, 150 years is that even a thing.
Right. That is so crazy, really, when I think about it.
Yeah.
She's just my baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. So, well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone have a wonderful Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever you celebrate.
Yeah.
And a wonderful new year. We will be back in 2025 to chat about something or other. And we just appreciate all you guys and enjoy your holidays. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, we will.
All right, everyone. Bye.
Bye.